Welcome, welcome. I'm up here in the corner. Tick, tick, tick. How are you doing? I like to play around, find out what we like. Here's the extension of our Inkblot reading for the Sacral Inkblot. So you know the drill. If you see, sense, or feel anything, please feel well to comment below. Drop an emoji, give a girl a like. I appreciate you. So there's some skulls up here. And I actually want to turn it sideways and I can see this journey that's happening, this conversation that's happening. When I say conversation, it's not necessarily in speaking. It's not about talking. There's movement, a lot of sacral movement in whatever area and channel your sacral, IUE me, of course, your sacral energy may be moving through, personal, professional, corporate, creative. And I'm coming to this. It's kind of like the big head of Wizard of Oz, or getting things maybe through our thick skull sometimes is the way I want to say that as well. There's a magnetism here. It's almost like a squid that's it's not stuck, but I'm seeing it almost like a glitch. It's like seeing a bird that stopped flying in the sky. It's something along that lines. I also feel like there's something covering my eyes a little bit, or my eyes are very swollen if there's been a lot of tears. There's a lion energy here as well, and my mane is made of fire, but this fire is not hot. This is feeling fire. That's how I want to say that, feeling fire. Also, something about nostrils. I feel like if you're here and resonating, there is like the clear smelling, clear sentience, clear audience, and there's something about smelling, keeping like your nostrils open. Even when your eyes are closed, sometimes you might tune into the scent of things. There's an embrace happening down here. For some of you, this might be twin oriented, or that's the term that's kind of referred to. And for some, there's something about specifically embryos. So congratulations if you're having twins or something along that lines, or you are a twin. Oh my goodness, I see you. You're just a hoot. I see this like big bearded guy, and it's kind of like a king. He's got a crown on. But he's got this smirky smile, which is curious. I'm debating on how I want to step into that. Something about forks and spoons and using certain utensils for certain things. And like my husband and I, he prefers to use a spoon sometimes in places where I'd be like, why don't you use a fork? I don't understand why you're using a spoon. And then likewise, he'll be like, why are you using a fork though? So but it's kind of like just an acceptance of others using, or ourselves in the sacral energy, different tools for, it's like in the same thing. Like if we're having pasta and he prefers to use a spoon because they're like smaller noodles, and I'm having pasta but I'm using a fork because I want to, and I like to control and poke the ratio, but he likes the spoon because anyway, you get the gist. It's not even the point of like trying to figure it out. It's accepting that and being like, oh, but it's super cool that first of all, we can have this pasta dinner, so lovely, have these tools at our disposal and choose our preferred ways of going about interacting with it. And I don't know how this may or may not make sense, but it feels like it does in whatever relation this is. There's also this larger being that's kind of coming through, and there's like this massivity of, how do I want to say it? Like one of those boas. Like imagine like a boa constrictor, with the snake charmers around their neck, but that boa constrictor is so fluffy, like a teddy bear. And it's bringing me into the tracker card that came through in the short. The link will be in the description box below if you want to see this Inkblot being born. Almost like a snake, this serpent of, is it maybe a hidden wisdom? Because it's like, I don't actually know that this bougie boa is a boa constrictor, symbolizing some sort of maybe occult or hidden knowledge within oneself, or an energy, whatever the case is. But that's what it feels like. It's like, oh my goodness, there it is. I also want to say in one rabbit hole, it is coming through as it's been following me for lifetimes, through very, very long, or it's the long lineage that has been a constant through many life incarnations, to have many experiences with for one reason or another. And that would be personal. This embryonic connection or twin, however, even within the self, you know me, I don't like to get stuck on things, even though I get stuck on things all the time. The masculine and feminine energies, the psyche and the psychic senses, whatever the case is. And it feels like this becomes fountainous, with overflowing, like the Ace of Cups, overflowing in the sacral area. But it's almost like I need to allow it to go over the rim in that moment, like over the waterfall, to be over full and to be in flow. I'm not going to lie. In the moment, it makes me feel like I'm at the brim. I want to hold. I want to hold all the water in that cup. It's actually more of a goblet, the way I'm seeing it. But nonetheless, you get the gist. And it's like through this, there's two handles. So this could be the twin flame, or it could be a vase, whatever symbol needs to come through for you. If you're connecting with this, obviously receive or release freely, of course. And that moment at the brim when things are too full and we're so accustomed to, oh my goodness, we're going to spill. But it just starts spilling over in this sacral soup, sacral, beverage that feels really bougie, and I love it. I feel like you're familiar and I don't know. Oh, this energy. Now, whether it's a good guy or bad guy in our stories, or good girl, bad girl, whatever energies we might apply, what I was drawn to is in their eyes. It's like I can see in their glasses, they're watching I, you, we, me. You see it there? This branch, maybe you can zoom in. I can see the reflection in their glasses of what they're watching me do. Now, here's the funny thing. I think it's kind of like this owl medicine. And an owl can look super creepy, super spooky. And it's like, are you a friend or a foe? And this has the same kind of energy. But I can see, now I'm looking at the owl with their black eyes, and I can see the reflection. It's almost like through the clear lens, or a clear obsidian lens, or black glass, or whatever the case is. And we scry here, so that's what we do. That's what we do. Ancestors also came through with tracker, owl medicine, and ancestors. And I think that's that long lineage. But the long lineage isn't linear. I don't even necessarily know that it's spherical. I'm seeing it as one of those devices that you can knit something with, but it's like a circle. And I think I don't know if it's crocheting or knitting or something along that lines. And they loop things in, and then they can just like turn this spinning wheel, and it starts to create a hat or a napkin. I think it's something circular or tunnel-like. But the two cards that flipped over here that I realized is Hunter of Conflict and Shaman of Birth. Yeah. You're gonna fight for your right to party. I guess if that's our language, you got to fight for your right, then you're going to fight. But here there's a feeling. There's a feeling like some new language is coming out of my mouth. I'm not rejecting this either, because I think this conflict was playful. It kind of cracked open a potential in me so I could more clearly make a choice. It also let me know friends and foes. I'll personalize it within myself versus externalizing it immediately, but then being able to see that reflected in my external relations or channels. If I was unsure, still needed more time. So this feels like an inner conflict that moves outside of me into other people, places, or things. And some sort of realization about this with that Shaman of Birth and the fire in there. I've also gotten something out of the belly of the boa. Last card, and then I will let you go for the day. Shaman of Loss. And this is that sensation that I might have lost someone that was like my twin, my other, you know, got your six. I might have lost an ability that I once had when I was a child. Is it here and has it just changed forms? Or am I looking for sameness? Is that the squid? I don't want to use, again, I don't know the term. I'm already too liminal. Not stuck, but maybe stagnant. And maybe that's just it, that I've kind of gone on pause. Old school VHS, pause. And I'm like, why is it paused? And I'm paused in that loss. I want it to be the same as it was, the same as it never was. And maybe it never was because I was applying, I, you, we, me, of course, wants, wishes, desires. I was seeing potential. And maybe that was part of the conflict in the sacral energy. But now I feel very celebratory about this. It's kind of balancing those differentiations and hitting play, pause. I kind of want to say over recording. Like if you ever did that, if you had a tape recorder, you had to press, play and record at the same time, 2 buttons at once. But I'm going to let you go. I promise. I do want to let this overflow. I do. And if that means sometimes I appear to be the villain, or I appear to be somebody else's challenge or conflict, or is accusing me of being in conflict, I feel like I'm keeping track of, not everyone likes their medicine. We're not also here to dole out medicine based on because we feel that we know better or are better, and vice versa. But this feels like I'm keeping track of my anticipations, expectations, kind of like that tape player again. I'm keeping track. I have the ability to rewind, reflect, review, and be able to bring in the conflict. And that I'm not saying conflict in the word conflict right now. It's a feeling, like a contraction. It's a contraction. The pain. I get cramps. I've never had a baby, but it's in that air, and whatever masculine gut wrenching you might feel as well. And that feels conflictual to the peace and the want and the desire, but that is birthing that. And I gotta let go to flow. I'll see you next time. So much love. I hope this would serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. Love you.